it's Lauren Daisy. Welcome back to the Pretty and Witty podcast. My guests today are Liss and Michelle from the Total Betty podcast network. They first reached out to me to be on an episode of their Pretty Lies podcast, We Are Liars, and I had the most fun. I have now done 2 episodes and I'm obsessed with their podcast. They obviously are watching every week and talking about Pretty Little Liars, but they have also done One Tree Hill, Friday Night Lights, The OC, and Gossip Girl. So there's a little something for everybody. Like I said, absolutely love their podcast. Tune in every week. I'm on the Patreon. I just think they are the most wonderful creators, the most wonderful girls. They are lifelong best friends, and I think that is such a fun dynamic to see on the channel. I hope you guys will love their podcast as much as I do. It was so fun chatting to them about what made them want to start their podcast network, becoming a company, how they divide up their roles and the different things that they do, and the kind of experiences that they have gotten to have because of the podcast, you know, meeting cast from shows and going to events and things like that. It was so interesting, and I hope you guys love this episode. Thank you so much to Liss and Michelle again for being a guest on my podcast, and I hope you guys go and listen to their podcast because it is just wonderful. I wanted to kind of like start with, I guess, like your more like early life, but in terms of your friendship, because for me, I just love girlhood. I love a friendship story. Like, I'm like, tell me how did you meet? Like, how did you become friends? Like, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, Lissy, I feel like, oh gosh. Liss, is the origin story where I told you to be friends with my sister and you guys were like 4 or 5 years old?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
The playground across, well, at that time, I didn't live there, but it ended up being in the park across from my house when we moved a little bit further down the block. Anyway, so we met at the park. And Michelle was like, oh, you're like around my sister's age. You should totally sit with her on the bus when you guys go to kindergarten.
That's so cute.
And we've been in each other's lives ever since. And her sister and I are very close, and our families are very close.
Yeah.
And we've just stayed friends for over 30 years at this point.
Yeah, like 34 years, 35 years. Isn't that crazy to say? Oh my God. But yeah, that's truly how it started.
It's so crazy, isn't it? Because my, like some of my best friends, it's like 20 years and stuff. And you're like, that's so much of your life has been like shared experience. It's like, it's just so crazy when you actually look back and you're like, oh, that's actually, I've known you for almost all of my life now.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Do you have a kind of TV or like film set of best friends where you're like, this is us? Are you guys like a Rachel and Monica, or are you probably not Blair and Serena? I feel like nobody wants to be Blair and Serena.
Oh, definitely not Blair and Serena. We're very similar in a lot of ways, personality wise, and like the food that we like and the interest for the most part that we like. That's a good question though.
I don't know if there's like a certain duo that I think of, but very much so Clueless.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I feel like our souls share that movie. It's very special to us.
I love that. Yeah.
Like Cher, Dion, and Ty.
Yeah.
We went as that for Halloween. I mean, I don't know, maybe 6, 5, 7 years ago at this point. And that I felt the most, I was like, this is me. This is me, Michelle, and Sam, and we were. It just made sense. Sam is Michelle's sister. It just made sense, and it just felt right. And Clueless is our favorite movie of all time. That's why we named our podcast network Total Betty. Like, we are obsessed with Clueless.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That makes the most sense.
Did you guys have completely different, like, kind of dream careers and stuff growing up then? Or did you go to the same schools? Like, did you do uni? Like, anything like that? Or were you kind of, like, on that journey together? Or if you had kind of differing career journeys?
Yeah, I don't want to speak for Liss, but so Liss is 2 years younger than me. And so while we were very close in the same social circles, like Liss and my sister had you guys had your own group of friends, and it overlapped with my group of friends. And so like I was always creating, always making short movies and writing things. And I just did it with my year, I would say, my group of friends who were in my age group. And then I went to school for TV, radio, and film production and went on from there. So I guess I ended up in really what I wanted to be looking back.
You did.
Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah,
you did. I didn't at all. That's not true. I was a speech and hearing major in college and thought I was going to be an audiologist or maybe a speech pathologist, and then that kind of just didn't really plan out for me. But the speech part, I took a lot of speech, like public speaking classes and that stuff, so that I feel helped me and prepared me for what we're doing now. But podcasting truly changed like the trajectory of, I feel like, my life, and I just it's so much more important to me than I ever thought it was. Like when we started this in 2016, it was a hobby and it was really fun and we got to get together as girlfriends, but now it's obviously very much more I'm very passionate about it and very like driven towards it. But yeah, we didn't really have the same course of action growing up as teenagers and early adulthood. I didn't really actually watch much television growing up because I was a competitive dancer, so I had absolutely no time to do anything besides that. Michelle knows, like every weekend they'd be like, "Hey, hang out." I'm like, "I can't." So that took up most of my high school career and a little bit earlier part of my college career. So because of that, I have like refound love for television. And like that's my favorite thing. I mean, we bond so much over TV. Like, we're constantly talking about like what shows we're watching, what's the new show we're gonna watch, and how we feel about this show. And so that's definitely kept our relationship pretty tight knit. And then we kind of ended up like on the same path in a way.
Yeah.
Down the line, many years later. Yeah.
You said you didn't watch like as much TV, so did teen dramas and stuff like that? Did that not kind of play a role? I guess, like, in your, like, I feel like a lot of people, they kind of find shows like Pretty Little Liars or Gossip Girl, like, when they're in their teens. So was that the same for you, Michelle? Did you find those shows then, or were you, like, were able to discover them later on?
Yeah, for me, the OC was definitely a huge part of my teenagehood and growing up. Like, I feel like a broken record, but the character of Seth Cohen coming into my life when he did, I was around the same age of him. It's this indie character who's half Jewish, celebrates Christmas and Hanukkah, has a sarcastic Jewish father. Like Seth into comic books and indie music. I was like, oh my gosh, this character on television. I also am just like in love with you, Adam Brody. So the OC was a huge, huge part of my life as a teenager.
Your major show.
Yes.
And
yes.
You didn't really dabble in any of the other ones because you were so obsessed with that show.
Yeah, so at the time, One Tree Hill was on, and I never watched that because I was just such a loyalist to the OC. But in the same, on like the flip side of that, I watched reruns of 90210, and I was watching Felicity and dabbled in Dawson's Creek. But the OC for me was that was like a huge part of my life.
That was the one.
That shaped.
Like everyone, everyone has like that show or film, like you said, something like Clueless or whichever it is that you're like, that shaped me like into who I am.
Yeah, and then like in my early teens, it was really, I would say like 12, 13. So preteen was The Simpsons and Malcolm in the Middle, and that
Love The Simpsons.
Really influenced my humor and just made me want to work in comedy and comedy writing, and that huge influence. Yeah.
I also feel like Gilmore Girls played a big part. I think actually out of all the shows that were on at that time, that was the one that I always went back to. I always watched it. As soon as I came home from school, I would put it on, and that was like the one that stuck with me, that introduced me to the teen drama world, even though it's so different. It's like a family drama, but yeah, that one, and that one's that's been so special to Michelle and I and our like that's just, it's such a special show.
We love it. We love it
so much. Like it's such a it's so and like I watched it with my husband. He's like, I don't get it, and I'm like, I know you don't get it. Like there's nothing for you to get. It's like for the girlies to get. There's nothing for you to get.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. You don't have to get it. You just have to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just
exactly.
Enjoy the ride I'm about to take you on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just 10 out of 10. I had the exact same thing with my fiance. Like, bless his soul, I've made him watch Pretty Little Liars, Gossip Girl, Desperate Housewives, like, but he loved all of them. Like, he was like so locked in. He was like, this is some of the greatest TV I've ever seen.
Those are so like salacious and ridiculous, and like I feel like the reason why my husband doesn't like Gilmore Girls is because nothing actually happens, and
it's a lot more like it's just emotion based.
Yeah, it's emotional based, and it's a mother and daughter and their family and their kooky town, and nothing actually does happen, but there's so much nostalgia and just this like sense of hug and warmth that you get from it, that something like I know for a fact when I watch Pretty Little Liars, he is in here going like, this is ridiculous, this would never happen, and I'm like, get out. I know. Just get out and be quiet. I have to do this for work, okay? Just get out.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that your partner at least is like,
absolutely
appeases you with it.
Yeah, but yeah, I think you're right. I think Gilmore Girls is just like a quintessential comfort show. Whereas, like, the others are very drama-based, they can be quite intense in that way. Whereas I think Gilmore Girls just has, like, such a, like you said, just, like, such a warmth about it.
It's safe. So Gilmore Girls is very safe. It's very safe.
Do you find that you guys like to watch new shows, or are you very happy rewatching shows you've already seen?
That's such a great question. I would say in the past couple of years, I'm very much sticking to the oldies because and just the way my schedule has gone with work and everything I do, I don't have the capacity to dive into a new world. And so I very much am rewatching old shows. And so much so, my husband and I are now watching every season of Big Brother. We're currently on Big Brother season 12. And we have a document, and we're taking our notes and recapping our thoughts and feelings. And so he's never seen the show really before, this series, which is a wild series. So we're just doing that. And that's a very comforting watch to do. But there's just so much good television out there that it's overwhelming.
Yeah,
it is, and you have to either just get word of mouth recommendation, like a friend just says like, no, you need to sit down and watch this show, like, or social media, for instance, like Heated Rivalry. Like I will go, to the death about Heated Rivalry. It was my favorite watch.
I loved Heated Rivalry,
but I didn't. It wasn't really on my radar. I'm not a reader. I didn't know anything about the books, and so it was just word of mouth and TikTok, and people were like, "This show changed my life," and this show, and I'm like, I guess I need to watch this show, and I'm so happy that I did. But we really, like, before bed, we watch like a comedy. So like right now we're watching Parks and Rec. I've actually never seen Parks and Rec, but we like before bed it's just like a light comedy. So that's like our rewatch portion. And then really, I don't think I've watched much new things unless it was something I was already involved in, hence like Tell Me Lies, the third season had come out. And so I'm like, okay, I'm definitely going to watch that. But other than that, no, unless it's like recommended to me and like someone's shaking me and saying, no, you need to watch this now, I really don't like go and click the TV on to watch anything new right now. I guess
I'm
the
exact
climate
same.
that we're in, and you just want to feel safe.
Yeah,
and
that's so true.
Yes.
Like know what happens. So
yeah, that's what I love as well about shows you've already seen. It's like, these characters, what's going to happen. Like, even if there are intense moments, when they're coming up, like you can skip those episodes if you want to. Like, it kind of just feels like kind of going like back home to something. I think I do struggle to get into new shows. I did really love Heated Rivalry though, but that was a similar thing where, like you said, it was everyone was like, you have to watch, you can't escape it. Like it was TikTok, like everywhere was like, you have to watch this show. So I was like, well, okay then.
Yeah, and I even
me. I'll have a go at this
so
one.
many clips on TikTok that I texted our friend Ingrid, and she was like, you got to watch it. I'm like, I fear I've watched way too much of it already. That I was so blown away still. I didn't really... I kind of was trying to put the pieces together of the clips that I saw, and it didn't even matter because it was that good. Oh, it was just so good. I can go on and on about that one.
For me, I feel like I don't get as invested in the newer formats of TV. So like, you know, a lot of streaming and 6 to 8 episode seasons. Like I, at heart, am like, you know, like you said, One Tree Hill, Pretty Little Liars. Like I love a 24 episode season. I love me some filler episodes. And I feel like because TV isn't like that anymore, you know, you don't get the Christmas specials, you don't get the musical episodes or whatever. I find it hard to get invested because I'm like, I didn't spend as much time with these characters as I did with, you know, 7 seasons of The Liars and stuff.
Yeah, you almost don't really, you don't invest yourself, and it's almost like you just completely forget about everything that happens. And like 6 months later, if you asked me probably what happened on Tell Me Lies, I probably wouldn't remember much.
Yeah.
Or I would be like, what's that guy's name again? Oh, right, Evan. Like, I don't think I would really... you don't really pay attention in the same way when you have 6 to 8 to 10 episodes. Like Stranger Things, for instance. I mean, we waited how long for that, and then it happened. And I probably couldn't really tell you much that happened, even though I watched it, I don't know, a month or two ago. Like, that's so crazy to me. But I can, well, now that we're just dissecting Pretty Little Liars, I could tell you much more about Pretty Little Liars than I could tell you about the Stranger Things season that I just watched. So yeah, you don't invest as much in it. It's not as important.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's difficult. I will go back and just rewatch those ones because I know I have so much there to like dive into. And it's like, I just know. And also a lot of them get cancelled after that first season. So I'm like, well, there's no point in me investing into this and being, you know, wanting to watch it when it's probably not going to get picked up for a second season.
Totally.
So then kind of moving on to the podcast, obviously, like you said, you know, it's been 10 years now. Do you know the exact like date of your 10-year anniversary? Is it coming up or is it towards the end of the year or?
It's in May. I think it was in the teens area in May.
Yeah.
And I remember when we decided to start our company, that was, ironically enough, my husband's birthday, which I didn't know him then. But so that date will never go out of my brain. It's May 15th. But I think it was maybe like May 10th, May 9th, May 11th, one of those that we decided to sit down with an iPhone and watch One Tree Hill with our friend Ingrid and just talk about it. That was something that was not new for Michelle. Michelle was doing her own podcast on the side and her own little projects. But for Ingrid and I, that was really our first like dabble into podcasting. And at 2016, really nobody was doing it.
No.
Or they were, and people didn't talk about podcasts in the way that they talk about podcasts now. Podcast is like radio. Not. There is no, it has taken over for radio. It's crazy. So yeah, we didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into until one day overnight, people were tweeting at us saying like, we love this podcast. And we were like, wait, what? People are listening to us? Like One Tree Hill just became so important to us, and it was so important to others that we just didn't know at all at the time. Michelle and I had no clue what we were getting ourselves into, and then I think we did that podcast for like 6 years. We milked the teat because people loved that show so much and loved our podcast, and we loved talking to others and talking to the cast, and it was a really important first show, and I'm so glad that was our first show together.
Yeah, me too.
How much has happened with One Tree Hill, just in general, in these like even last couple of years. It's just people are obsessed with that show.
Yeah, there's been like a resurgence of the fandom with all, you know, with Drama Queens and Friends with Benefits hosting the reunions down in Wilmington, a trick. Like there's just, it's just, I feel like blew up again, which is great. It's awesome.
So then, Michelle, what kind of projects and things were you working on before this joint one?
Well, my first ever, if we're going to talk about podcasts, my first ever podcast in 2009 was called Brain Showers.
2009?
2009.
Yes. You were so ahead of the curve. Like,
it was called Brain Showers, and it was essentially, I wanted it to be a call-in show to tell us something brainy, and I did it with my husband, but then boyfriend, and my best friend. And then that fizzled, and then Anthony and I did Commercial Convo, where we talked about commercials, and we thought we were like so quirky because during our commercial break, we played clips from TV shows. Haha. And actually, Liss was on Commercial Convo. She talked about Super Bowl commercials.
That was my first dabble into podcasting.
Yep. Yep. And then I had In Your Dreams with Mitch Ruby, which was we just talked about dreams, and I had a dream dictionary, and we'd look up themes. And then we started Tree Hill Talk, and then I did the Mitch Ruby show, which was just having guests on and me interviewing them. And yeah, it's been a while. And then like in between that, I had a YouTube series called What Michelle's Eating, which is
Liz is like, love this.
It was my favorite thing. It was me, my mom and I would log in and I'd be like, Mom, let's watch what Michelle's eating this week. And it would bring me so much joy. That for my 30th birthday, Michelle recorded, she brought it back from the dead and recorded her own episode just for me. And posted it to my Facebook page. And it was
my number one fan. My number one fan.
Number one. What Michelle's Eating is my favorite YouTube channel television program.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So she would just be like cutting an apple, and then she would say, and you can dip it in hummus. And don't worry if there's a bruise, because you could just cut that away. And she was just like, so
the Food Network should have called.
It was so funny. I just loved every minute of it.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
So then what kind of made you, like you said that One Tree Hill was your first one, but what kind of made you think this is the show we want to talk about? Because I guess at that point it had finished about 4 years before that.
Yeah, it finished in 2012, I believe. And
I think so, yeah.
2016, so yeah, it wasn't too far off. Our friend Ingrid, who led that show, that was her comfort, her fave show growing up, much like Michelle had the OC. And to me, I was like, I just like recently in college, I watched Pretty Little Liars, I watched Gossip Girl, so I was like a little bit late to the teen, besides Gilmore Girls, like obviously the teen drama world, and so I didn't really know anything about One Tree Hill besides the fact that Chad Michael Murray was on it, maybe, and that was pretty much it. Didn't know it was about basketball, didn't know it was about brothers, didn't know anything about it. And also Michelle didn't know anything about it. And so Ingrid's like, I would love to watch this show again. How do you both feel about doing a podcast about it? And we were like, yeah, sure. Like, I, again, like, did not think anything of it about talking together, talking over each other, blabbing on, you know, it was very raw and real. And if you go back to the very early Tree Hill Talk days, you will hear the difference. We have some people on Discord that are re-listening, and I'm like, good luck, because it is so crazy, stark difference to where we are now. But yeah, so Ingrid watched it, Michelle and I didn't, and we had this newbie perspective, and people really enjoyed that. And so we wanted to keep that momentum up. And so at first, what Michelle and I keep talking about this recently, but like we couldn't believe we would do two episodes at a time. So we would do episode 1 and 2, and it would still equal the same amount of time that it would to talk about one episode later on in the series. I don't understand that, but yeah. So it could have taken us much longer. I think it was like season 5 we stopped, or 4 or something like that we stopped doing 2 episodes at a time.
Yeah.
That was a long time to do 2 episodes at a time.
I can't believe it. And I think also
at a time. I yap too much for that.
Yeah.
Well,
so did we.
So did we.
Apparently not, though. I don't know.
I think there was just no prep going into it.
Oh, well, that too.
Like it was such a different. It was just so different. Like we would open up, you know, for example, like now, like Liss or I, whoever's leading the series that we're covering, will beforehand gather everybody's questions. Like at the time we were just opening up the DMs and reading, like there was no editing or filtering it, so there was no outline. It's very produced now versus then.
Yes.
So what is that kind of like then? Your kind of process and your setup? Like obviously now you guys have your chairs and you're sat together and everything. Back then, because you didn't do video either, was it literally just like record it on your phones and all 3 of you are just talking at the same time? Or
yes,
how did that kind of work?
Well, we had a phone. We also had a Yeti mic because I had the Yeti mic from my previous project. So which is almost honestly just like having a phone because you have one mic gathering 3 people's voices. And then I would edit in GarageBand, which my husband at the time loved GarageBand and made music. So he taught me the basics, and then Liss and Ing learned from that, and we all edited together. And then eventually we got a mixer, and we each got 3 mics. And so we each had our individual tracks, which was great.
Blessing, yeah.
Blessing. Yeah. And so from there, it just like slowly evolved. And then we did some video, which was so crazy because we would do these live reaction videos and we would stream to YouTube for like the big episodes of One Tree Hill.
Taken down because we were flat.
I was going to say, I did not see those.
Yeah, because you can't.
You can't see them. They're not allowed to be on there.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, so it just evolved from there. As technology has evolved and changed, we have adapted as so.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, we were interviewing celebrities on Skype and not seeing their faces, not knowing their reactions, panicking because we're wondering when they're going to log in. It just was such a different time, and now the podcasting world has these so much technical advances that it is just... Everything is so much easier. I mean, obviously, we still have those days where tech just hates us and that shit happens. But it's just the tech now makes anyone can start a podcast, and you could just click a button and you watch a couple of videos, and it's so much easier than it was then. And like GarageBand, so simple to figure out. And then there's, I mean, dozens and dozens and dozens of editing software, and even something like CapCut now, which you really don't have to pay for. You can edit in. Like, it's just really evolved, and I'm proud
you guys
of
were
us.
in the trenches.
Yeah, we were in the trenches, and we struggled so much to get here that almost like we're like, no, now we need to be foolproof. There should be no excuse for us to not sound amazing, not look amazing, not have anything go wrong in these episodes. So yeah, it definitely was a humbling experience. We will never forget our roots.
Never. It still haunts
like
me.
Those little girls, yeah.
Yes.
It still haunts us to this day.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did Ingrid do the entire of the One Tree Hill series with you guys?
Yes.
And then...
And
did she come to other shows? Or at what point did it become just you two?
We started, we knew that One Tree Hill and Tree Hill Talk was ending, and we wanted to kind of keep the momentum up, and we wanted to start Michelle's favorite show, The OC. And so Michelle was the leader of that podcast, and Ingrid had never seen it, and I had seen it only one time through. So it was basically new to me as well. And then it was, I think we got halfway done with Let's Talk OC because there's 4 seasons of the OC. So I think Ingrid stayed on for 2 seasons of that. And then simultaneously, we were also doing a Gossip Girl podcast. Like, don't recommend. Do not recommend doing these things.
2 at the same time is
crazy. 2 at the same time
is
absolutely crazy. It is. And so she was in 1 season of that and then decided that this wasn't her passion. She didn't want to do it anymore. And then from then on, Michelle and I decided to just keep going. And obviously, she gave us her blessing. She had no issues with that. And here we are. Yeah.
So is that when you went from, It Takes 3 to Total Bay?
Exactly.
Yes exactly. Yeah.
And what was that? So, the kind of rebrand, I feel like it looks, completely different. So, so that comes from Clueless. That's, a quote or something from Clueless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yes.
And how did you kind of decide on, I guess the aesthetic or, kind of what you wanted your brand now as Total Bay to be?
Yeah. Gosh, that's such a good question, Lauren. And I feel like, I don't want to speak for Liss, but for me, I just feel like you just keep going and you keep going and you keep going. And sometimes you don't even realize where the evolution is taking place. We had so many versions of colors we were using and typefaces, and I remember the origins of Total Betty with plaid. Yes, we were playing a lot with plaid.
Love that.
Because, I thought we did plaid because it was very 90s, and also
that's right.
Cher and Dion and
yes.
We just thought it was more of a time to be in. And then pretty much, I think maybe the last 2 years, we've decided we're over that.
Yeah.
And we just want more simplistic. And so we kind of just did this pink. I mean, pink is obviously very important to us. And we just kind of went with this like sunsetty, but more simple and block letters, like just more just easier and cleaner. That's what we did. And
very like recognizable.
Yeah, and now we feel like we found our footing with that, which like coming from It Takes Three, which was literally just like, you know, the most simple design with like maybe a little bit of teal in there, and then to go and rebrand and become Total Betty and try and figure out how to change over everything. It like obviously wasn't going to happen overnight, and we finally got here, and we're like, okay, we can like take a seat and not have to worry about branding and logo, and which we did all of ourselves. Like we didn't hire anyone, so we did all of this ourselves. We are quite literally man-made, self-made. Yeah, everything we do. Besides, our friend Bridget is an amazing artist, so she has helped us with designs and things like that. But we do everything ourselves. So
we're very scrappy. Very scrappy.
Yeah.
I think nowadays a lot of people, or like, you know, listeners, or, you know, watch YouTube and stuff, tend to assume that people have editors now, or have people that script for them and or you know, do that for them. So then it's always so fun to see other people that, because like I'm the same, like I'm just one woman team, so then for you guys to be the exact same and just be like, it's just us doing this, I really love that, because I'm like, you can feel that when you watch it, that there's that heart in it, and your passion for it like really comes across, that it is just you two and this is like your baby kind of thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad that it comes across.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think that's why your audience has also stuck with you since those like early ones, because that is the appeal of your podcast, is that it is like just having a girly chat as well, which I think is so fun, and people kind of love that. And shows like, you know, One Tree Hill or Gossip Girl, they don't get that kind of same recognition in the like wider TV world. So I think because, you know, people love it so much, they love to have a space to go to talk about it, because the bigger, you know, like whatever it is, Billboard or whoever, like top 100 TV shows is never going to have something like Gossip Girl or One Tree Hill on it. So then to find other people that love it in that same way, I think that's just such a fun community to like have built over the past like 10 years.
Yeah. That's the best part of this whole thing that we've created, is the community, and that people are lifelong friends. I mean, people have matching tattoos.
Yeah.
That is, I'll never get over that.
Me neither.
That's so crazy.
You know? I mean, they're not Total Betty, but they're related in the sense of it's an OC tattoo. It's meaningful to them. They met through us. That was really special to see.
Yeah. So then you said that it's actually like a full-on company, like it's set up as a company.
Yes, we have an S corporation.
Or it's just a corp. Yeah. But yeah, it is a company. Yeah. It Takes Three
Inc. What made you want to do that?
Well, we were making money where we'd have to claim it.
Yes.
so that's and just to be protected and be legitimate. And so that's what had us form our company. Yeah.
Yeah. And learning that, and through the years, like we learned, like, oh, we need business insurance, and we need to hire a lawyer because of this trademark issue, and like these things that you never think you're going to need. Now we know we have to do those things because they're realistic. And you know, if you're making money and you have to file taxes, kind of have to have somewhere to put that. You know. So.
Yeah, it's so funny, isn't it, when you like become like, well, self-employed and things, because it's like, oh, I just want to make YouTube videos, or I just want to make a podcast and like chat about fun things, and it's like, that is great, but then there's that other side of it, like you said, when you start making money or it starts getting bigger, that you have to really like become in charge of your own life. Like now there's not an employer doing those kinds of things for you, and that can be quite daunting as someone who, you know, didn't study business or didn't do anything like that. Like it's just you and Google being like, how do I do this?
Absolutely.
It definitely is just a try it and see how it goes kind of thing. Like every I don't know what it's like in America, but it's in the UK, the tax cut-off, I think it's like the 31st of Jan or something. Every year I'm scared that I'm going to do some kind of tax crime. I'm just like...
Yeah.
I
know.
I just want this to be correct. I'm sorry.
They make it so confusing.
Well, obviously, 10 years on from starting the original podcast, but then 3 years since your first like video podcast that you posted on the channel. So what made you kind of think, oh, let's maybe go more towards video and audio instead of just audio? Had you had people asking for it, or were you watching other podcasts and you were like, we want to do that?
I think it was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about before, the podcasting world has changed so much that we were seeing that YouTube podcasts were doing really well. And we said, well, what? I mean, at first we just put our episodes without our faces on there just to see if it would get any traction. But then once we started to film ourselves doing our podcast, people just like that parasocial relationship. They like to see us. They like to see our reactions. And that, I think we started that during Gossip Girl, right?
We did, because we were in my old apartment and your sister was on.
Yes.
Shan came for the finale. And we also did that for Talkin' Texas a little bit. Yeah. But, it started, so that was 5 years ago. We would post like some, like the big episodes, like I think the lives and the finale episodes. And then it just became standard for the rest of those seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what every week now, we always have an audio, we always have a visual. And we're now like, we're a well-oiled machine, you make visual. Okay, now we have to make social media clips. And, if you do an audio, now we have to place our ads. Like, it's just like this well-oiled machine that, in these past 10 years, we got to
really streamlined.
Yeah, exactly. That was always what Michelle's thing. Let's streamline. We need to streamline.
Streamlining.
That's like her constantly saying.
I know.
And
up level streamline.
Always. She's such a businesswoman, and it just. And now we're here, and it makes it easier because you don't have to think. You just do it, and honestly, it's tedious work, but I enjoy doing it. I don't really care that we have to do these things. Each week we rotate who does audio, who does visual, so that helps. Like, having two really helps. I'm sure, Lauren, you understand having your 2-hour video and you're cutting that, and it's just, and you're putting in your clips and your audio. It's a lot to do. Yeah. So we've definitely, streamlined everything we possibly could at this point. And that definitely helped so much.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things people, like, as viewers and things, sometimes don't appreciate. And it's not like their fault that they don't appreciate it, because they just sit down and they watch it. But then it's like, if you had to pay someone to do all these different jobs, the editing, the filming, the starring in it, all of that, the social media, this would be like a huge machine that would do all of this for, an actor or someone that wanted to do this. And so I always love to, like, say to other creators, like, I appreciate what you are putting in to like, when I watch your podcast, I'm like, I know how long this took. Like, even just things like when you put up the like the Lucky Leons, the later, like all that stuff, like, I'm like, it's like, just that graphic alone, I'm like, I know that took one of you like 30 minutes to do that. Like,
yes.
I'm always like, I see it and I appreciate it, because I do the same thing.
And then you also get into, if someone was doing that for you, then you give up that control, and we both have control issues. We don't want to give that control to anyone.
I'm the exact same way.
We don't want, obviously, like, we trust each other to take something out or to change something if we feel it was not appropriate or what have you. But if you give that control to somebody else, you don't know what you're getting at the end of the day.
No.
Yeah.
So it's just easier to do it ourselves, even though it does take far more work during the week. It just feels, and it also feels better. You're like, I did that. We did that. And we're proud of it.
Yeah. I think that's definitely a big one, is that you can look at something and be like, from start to finish, that was us and what we wanted it to be and our kind of vision of it. Like, I truly, my fiance was like, oh, it'd be like nice one day to have an editor. It's like, at the moment I'm doing a video about Ren. Trigger warning. And it's literally like 3 hours. I've been editing it for the past 2 days. And he's like, oh, you would have had so much more time. Like, you know, if you could just film it and send it away. And I'm like, oh, but they wouldn't have done it how I've done it. They wouldn't have used the same clips or like the pictures or the way I've edited it. I'm like, I'm such a control freak. I can't imagine letting someone else do that. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I need to do it.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing anything to kind of celebrate the 10-year anniversary, or have you got anything planned?
We would like to.
We want to. We're talking about what that would look like, and
yeah, and we also want
what we want to do.
Like our very OG patrons, like the people that have been around for the last 10 years. What would they want from us? And I think, soon I think we'll pull it out and see and get people's feedback. I don't know. Do you have any ideas, Lauren?
What should we do?
We toy back and forth with like so many things, and then it's, you know, it's like, do you go back to the roots of One Tree Hill? But we've covered so much One Tree Hill, and like, what do we do with that? And it's like, how do you represent all of our shows? And or is it just like, you know, us as podcasters? Like, it's just, there's so many aspects we could go. We just don't know exactly what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. TBD.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
TBD.
Watch this space.
Yes.
Yes.
So then, like, speaking of your Patreon, you've had it since 2018? Was that when you set up the Patreon?
I think we started in 2016.
Oh,
we had a separate one for Tree Hill Talk.
Yes,
and then when we decided to do Let's Talk OC and Three Gossip Girls.
Maybe in 2018 is when we started this new.
We like switched. I think we just switched to a new one, and that was just going to be the umbrella for all the shows, because we talked about like, should each show have its own Patreon? We're like, that's insane to manage. Just like each show has its own channel and has its own social media
it was a lot.
channel.
Yeah.
And we even talked about like, and then that's how Total Betty kind of became on Instagram, which we're not very active on there anymore because we've chosen to spend our time on YouTube. But it became the umbrella for all of our shows because each show had its own platform. So that's like an interesting decision to make as a creator and what works best for each show.
With the Patreon, like, what has that kind of done in terms of being able to support your like podcasting journey, and like the people that are obviously over there and have supported you for this amount of time? Like, how does that kind of tie in with just that creative freedom side of it?
Well,
it supports the show. It supports. It's great because our patrons are so amazing, and we've had some of them since Tree Hill Talk days. And really, we're lucky in the sense where it has supported every show that we've done, and so that's really nice.
Yeah,
that's
it
really
supports
nice.
us being able to keep up all of our shows on our platforms.
Yeah.
And get our latest equipment, and just it's made everything easier for us, better for them, because now our quality is so much better. And they've just evolved with us, and they have seen the growth, and I mean, I know that they do appreciate that, just like how we appreciate them being here. They appreciate that we put our time and effort into making the best show for them.
Yeah,
they come first. Obviously, they always will, and they get perks because of that. But yeah, it's a self-sustaining process. You know, the money that they give us only just makes our shows better. We don't pocket it. We don't profit from it. The company does.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that's how it's been for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It's just a self-sustaining, rotating thing. And we've had for like a decent amount of time, like the same patrons. Like, they are not going anywhere. They are loyal. They love each other. We love them. They love us. It's really special to have people who support you for that long and are there to for whatever you need or whatever we start. You know, we have some listeners who are like, I don't like Pretty Little Liars, but actually I'm still going to pledge because I like you guys. Like, I'm not going to listen to it or watch it, but we still love you. And that's really important to us too.
Yeah, that kind of like community that you've built, it like kind of supersedes, if that's the right word, like the shows that you make, in a sense, because it's a completely different thing. I think with like Patreon specifically, because I find that with mine, it's like people obviously come over, like, they, you know, to do the content and stuff, but that primarily is that they want to support you as creators, and they are invested in you specifically, no matter what it is that you decide to make. And that is something that then, like you said, becomes so special, and like seeing how that grows and how they interact with each other, and like you said, just appreciate what you're doing and want to support that in any way they can. Like, I just still, to me, I'm like, just find that so crazy. I'm like, I'm just like a person like you guys.
Oh yes.
But the fact that you want to do this to help me, you know, be able to express that creativity and make things for you guys, and there's that kind of like relationship in that way, I'm just still, it still blows me away, like
Us
even
too.
now.
Absolutely.
Same.
You kind of have touched on a little bit, as just being a 2-woman team, how do the, you know, responsibilities kind of divide between you? Said, so you each take turns at editing each week, like things like merchandise or the websites or email correspondence, like, is it all just very 50-50, kind of just have a little go at everything?
Yeah, I think we both dabble in all aspects of having a company. Like right now, obviously, our current show is We Are Liars, Pretty Little Liars. Michelle has not seen it, so I take the reins on the email and responding to questions and making sure that there's nothing that gets spoiled for her on that end. And then really, like I said, we rotate each week, so the responsibility of audio is like slightly less than the responsibility of visual. Visual, it takes a little bit longer, and then on top of that, it's like, well, then you just create the social media aspect of it. So we both don't get burned out, because there has been points where we felt like, okay, no, this is, you know, I'm taking on too much, or this is too much for me, and so we've really balanced it where we both, it's like, if someone sees an email, or if someone sees something that needs to be fixed, like, that person does it, you know?
Right.
Or, you know, it's like, we don't be like, obviously there's never like a pointing finger, or like, hey, can you, you know, it's just like, if there's something that's broken, needs to be fixed, whoever sees it first takes care of it. Or someone sees the email first, they take care of it, or, you know, I don't know. We just, everything's very 50-50. So
one of the things that I really loved about your like way of doing the podcast is, like you said, that it is spoiler free, like up until obviously the point, like those episodes that you're at. Because after we did our first interview, I was like, I remember I said to you, I was like, oh, I really want to do the Tree Hill talk one, but I haven't finished One Tree Hill yet. And you were like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. And I was like, that is so fun, because I haven't, because I'm still only on season 3, I haven't been able to go into like the Reddit or follow different accounts and ask people what they, because I'm like, I'm gonna get spoilers in there, whereas like I know with your podcast, like I can just enjoy what you guys are saying about the episode in that moment, as if it's like, you guys also don't know what's gonna happen yet,
right?
But the only thing with that is, like, when you've done it before, like obviously when Michelle, you were kind of hosting the OC one, or like, you know, Liss, you said now you're doing the We Are Liars one. Have you ever had that where you're like, someone has kind of tried to spoil it for you? Like, has anyone ever tried to do that, or are you like, no, like the Total Betties, like they are good with that?
Our Betties, no.
Our Betties are amazing, but my best friend spoiled who Gossip Girl was and knew I had a Gossip Girl podcast. She didn't realize what she did, and I didn't want to make her feel bad, because I never want to assume that everybody cares what I do in my life, right? Especially if they're not an active listener of the podcast. Like, people know I podcast, and they're just like, oh, there's Michelle and her little podcast. And so when this happened, I didn't know if I should tell Liss or not. And so I ended up telling Liss. I was just going to fake it. I was just going to keep faking it. And I told Liss, I was like, I know who Gossip Girl is. And so we just turned it into a segment of After Dark. And so after every episode, it was spoiler free. And then we're like, stay on for After Dark, and we'll talk about, you know, Michelle's thoughts on who Gossip Girl is. So it became a segment of the show that I think people who knew who Gossip Girl was really enjoyed that added segment. We just made it work for us.
Yeah.
We just made it work.
We've always made it work, and there was a time because at one point when we had our first Patreon, and we were we were all answering the messages and whoever would come through, and there was a point where someone did say something about a couple. We won't spoil anything.
Yep.
And it was like that was the end of them, and Michelle literally thought they died. And so for like the whole season, she had such anxiety watching the season, and I didn't know anything because at that point, you know, I hadn't seen the message, but Michelle says, I saw something and I don't know what to do with this information. And we like, I think Ingrid responded like, my co-hosts don't know anything, like that. You know, she was like so angry. But you know, it comes to the territory. Like if this person hasn't seen it, don't check the messages. Like we know what to do.
Right.
We have all these like fail-safe things. If something were to happen, we'll just make it work. You know, if Michelle were to find out. If Michelle were to find out who A was in the beginning of the show, then you know what, we would have had to do an After Dark, and how do you see that person being A?
Right,
and
right.
We would have just made it work. But yes, it has been there have been some times where things have been spoiled, but we've been pretty damn lucky that there hasn't. And then don't recommend going to a One Tree Hill convention when you haven't seen the whole show. So
don't recommend that. Don't recommend that.
10 out of 10, don't recommend that because we did get some things ruined. I mean, we were towards the end of the show when things got ruined for us. So it was okay, but don't recommend doing anything like that.
You're like, who are all these actors? Like, I don't know who any of these characters are. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
So then I kind of wanted to do, like, through each of your podcasts, if you could give, like, a short kind of, like, one sentence summary of your thoughts, like, on the show itself, and then also one of your favorite memories or moments from like recording that show in its kind of like entirety. So obviously we'll start with the original Tree Hill talk.
Yeah.
What did you think about One Tree Hill and also the process of doing that, recording that whole series?
I feel like, and I know this is controversial, and I in my heart of hearts, I still feel like it's my favorite show that we watched, only because it was the first. And
it has that special,
it does,
like,
and like, and also I had seen The OC, I had seen Gossip Girl, I have seen Pretty Little Liars. So other than Friday Night Lights, which I absolutely adored, One Tree Hill really like just like took precedent of my life, and we went to conventions, and it was like we bonded so much. And Michelle and I and Ingrid, we always say like we will not travel with anyone besides our husbands and us, and like that is it, because once you travel with people, you get to know them on a different level, and we just work very well together. We mesh very well together traveling, so that was really important and very fond memories of doing that together. And the cast interviews, like we were doing that in a time we were not qualified to do. I mean, I shouldn't say that. It was just like it was just like a whirlwind, and we have to thank, the Friends with Benefits charity and what they had done for us, because they were just like, oh, Hillary's going to come on. We were like, wait, what? Like, that doesn't, no, I'm sorry, no, that's just crazy to us. So I'm just going to say One Tree Hill is special. If I had to put it in one word, is special. And my favorite memories are definitely traveling with the girlies.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was thinking the same thing. One Tree Hill is special. It is absolutely special. It taught me a lot. It stressed me out like no other, but I learned so much with tech. And my favorite memory, I think, is just the fact that we did it. That's our origin story.
Yeah.
And at the base and foundation of it is friendship.
Yes.
So when I think of One Tree Hill, I think of friendship.
Aww.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, I love that answer. So then next up was Let's Talk OC.
Yeah.
my love. The OC, like I said, so special to me, and I made it a life goal to have everyone in my life watch it. I will force you to watch it. And Liss was part of that.
That's literally what I'm like with Pretty Little Liars.
And Liss
I'm like, lock in.
Pay attention. Liss was part of that. And so the first wave of her watching was I sat her down with our friend Tim, and I was like, you're going to watch you're going to watch the OC. And then I had my husband watch, and now he loves it. Now I'm like, time has gone by, so now I'm having Seth watch it over on Movie Friends.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just going to infiltrate there wherever I can. But Let's Talk OC was a passion project, and it's like, I don't want to say special again, but I'm going to say it's my love language. It's one of my love languages. Yeah.
I'm going to say appreciation, because watching it for the first time, someone like Marissa Cooper, Misha's character, I didn't resonate with her the first time watching. And then because we dissected this show so much and invested so much time and energy, she ended up being my favorite character the second time around. And I appreciated all of the acting done. And even though, some of the storylines are kooky, like in One Tree Hill, I still appreciate, I think everyone, honestly, they're all amazing actors on that show. Yeah, so I appreciate it. And like, favorite memory from Let's Talk OC or the OC? That's hard. I mean, there are times when Michelle's cat would have diarrhea in the office, and that was always a blast. I feel like Liam would come out more when we would do the OC. So I'm going to say memories of Michelle's cats.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
I also just want to make note too, we were going into our third season of Let's Talk OC, and that's when 2020 hit and COVID hit. And that's when Liss and I went virtual really for the first time. And I'm really proud of us. And I feel like the community, we gained a lot of people in our community during that time. So I'm very proud of that one.
Definitely. First time we also got haters. And
no way, really?
Yeah, I feel like One Tree Hill Talk, the viewership and the listenership, everyone was generally pretty welcoming and nice. And then we got to the OC, and there were some like bras that didn't really like us very much.
Wow.
And,
well, also, no, Tree Hill Talk, there was, if you remember, season 7 and 8,
I probably blocked it out.
No, we had some people commenting of my not so niceness towards characters and thoughts on storylines. So
that's true. I forgot about that. I blocked a lot of things out.
Yeah.
I think people do. They get very protective over the shows that they love. I've found One Tree Hill so far, to be very nice overall. And the way I've been doing my videos is that I have, I always say at the beginning, because I've done a deep dive on season 1 and season 2, and I say, like, in them, I haven't seen it. So, like, this is my view, this is how I'm watching it for the first time, and I haven't had anyone, like, spoil anything, like, purposely or anything. Everyone's been very nice over there.
Good.
I think probably Gossip Girl was probably the one where I was like, oh, these people are feisty.
Yeah, they show their true colors with the Gossip Girl.
Out of all the shows I've covered, I think Gossip Girl's probably the one where those are the most feisty comments I get.
think we'd have to agree with that. I know that's probably the next show we're going to be.
I was going to say it is, yeah.
Yeah, one word that... Is it one word about 3 Gossip Girls or one word about Gossip Girl? Because Gossip Girl...
you guys didn't really gel with Gossip Girl that much, did you?
Ridiculous. Unlikable characters.
Absolutely.
I think what was fun about that journey was, the unfortunate part that Michelle did get Gossip Girl spoiled, but it made us... I don't know. It made our show better. I think we just improved on the show, and the fact that Michelle could not get Dan's name in her head. She just called him Padge the whole entire series, where the listeners would be like, what is she talking about? Like, who is she talking about? His name is Dan. Why are you guys calling him this? Like, they came out with their sharp teeth, and they did not like that, but and they did not like what we had to say about pretty much any of the characters on that show, because they all suck. And we shipped hard a couple that we shipped a lot of couples
other people did not,
and other people did not, and I have no regrets about that. So I think it was just it was fun. Once we got into the groove of realizing, okay, people are really upset with us, we'll just have fun and not be so negative. Yeah, that was hard.
I guess that's like kind of a standout one for you guys amongst the others, because it seems like all of the others you guys have really enjoyed and loved watching.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna say Gossip Girl is probably the biggest disappointment I've ever felt watching a teen drama because I really thought, because it was the same creators from the OC, I went in thinking I was going to love this, and it was like the exact opposite. That being said, super fun to talk about every week, and it is still our #1 downloaded podcast to this date. To the date, every month it has the highest downloads out of all of our players.
Wow!
So people love Three Gossip Girls, but yes, Padge Bentley. That is my one word. I could not, and I still
so funny.
I could not remember his name, and I still have to think about Penn Badgley. No, Padge Bentley.
That's
forever Padge.
Oh, Dan. I'm not gonna call him Dan.
No, it's Padge. It's Padge.
Yeah.
It's Padge.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So then it was Talking Texas Forever after that.
What an amazing, amazing show. That show is, I don't want to say special again.
Is it like a hug list? How would you? It's pretty perfect. I would say Friday Night Lights is perfect.
Perfect. It's
perfect. It's
minus
perfect.
some things in season 2.
Yeah,
it is still perfect. Absolute perfection. And that entire cast is so going back to the acting, as I said, the OC, but the acting on Friday Night Lights, so moving. Everyone fantastic. I loved how raw and real everything felt about that show. I just really, really enjoyed it. And then out of all the shows, that one did the poorest.
It performed. It didn't perform well.
The least, and but then at the end of the day, we were like okay with it. We said, well, we're just going to talk about it because we love it, and we're not going to worry about numbers or downloads or anything, because it's just such an important show that I've never seen, and I am so glad that I watched that show. Even my husband, who watched none of the shows, was the one watching that show with me and saying this show's really good. And so it was so different, and it's pretty perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect, and it's, I think also because it's different than a teen drama, even though
that's what I was going to say. It's a bit of a pivot from like the traditional teen drama, so I guess that's maybe is where you get that slight level up in terms of the production and the budget and everything. That's one that like my parents, I haven't seen it yet, but that's one that my parents were like obsessed with when it came out. Watched it they were like, how have you seen like, Pretty Lies and all this, and you haven't watched how have you not watched this yet?
It's like in a different caliber though. It's just it's more family drama than teen drama, but it is just so good, and there will never be another individual that I love more in this world than Tim Riggins.
Same.
Tim
forever.
Riggins.
Forever. And
you've
always.
Done something to me, and I will never get over you. Tim Riggins.
Tim
Riggins.
Tim
Riggins. Not Taylor Kitsch. You're fine, but Tim Riggins is something else.
That was something
different.
I couldn't wait to show Liss was Friday Night Lights and Tim Riggins. I was like, you will know when you know, and then you will dream of Tim Riggins, and it's like no other. But as perfect as Friday Night Lights was, and Talking Texas Forever as this little comforting show we did, it was a huge lesson, because we were like, well, I think we do better if we talk in like a salacious way we do about Gossip Girl, which led us to doing Pretty Little Liars. Yeah. And that's, we did it. We had to take a hard lesson. We're like, I think it's better if we do a show like that than talking about a show like Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. We kind of need, I think, our personalities, and I think what people like is that we both, we shoot the shit. We like to talk. We like to gab. And we like to talk about ridiculous things. Like everything in Pretty Little Liars is so ridiculous. And like more ridiculous than Gossip Girl, but for some reason Gossip Girl just couldn't make it work for them or something. I'm not really sure. I mean, Pretty Little Liars is just, we talk about it. It's constantly like a 7 on a cringe meter all the time. There is like not one episode that is not cringe, because it's Pretty Little Liars, but that's what makes it special. Too, is that you know what to expect when you sit down to watch an episode of PLL.
Shows like that are fun because you just kind of have more to talk about as well, in that sense of it is so ridiculous. Like, these are the things I did like, these are the things I didn't like. Whereas shows, yeah, I guess more like Friday Night Lights, it's just, this is just a genuinely amazing piece of TV. And I guess in terms of like people listening and they want to hear, like you said, the back and forth and like the brutally honest how you feel about the show, it's harder to do with something like that, because each week you're like, no, this is actually just really good.
Yeah, and there wasn't any like dissection with Friday Night Lights in a way, because I was just watching it and enjoying every minute of it, and they do such a good job of giving this like cohesive storyline, no confusion. You know, this one did this, and it's like, maybe sometimes they're not like morally sound, but it's like you understand why these people do what they do, and in this town that's, you know, has poverty, and it's just it was easy to dissect because they gave you it. With Pretty Little Liars, there's, I mean, every storyline has 100 things that you could be like, wait, this doesn't make any sense. Absolutely. How did we get here? How is this person A? What's this clue? So that's what makes it fun. And I guess that's what we were looking for. Maybe what the listenership was looking for too, was to us to just be like, what the heck is happening?
Oh God, I do love it though.
We're loving every minute of it. Honestly, I had such negative thoughts about PLL when I stopped watching this show in 2017, whatever it was. And again, a broken record, but like swore I would actually never go back and watch this show. Swore I would never let Michelle watch it. I was like, please don't get yourself involved.
You're trying to protect her.
I was trying to protect her at all costs. And then here we are 4 years later, and we'll be starting season 5. And we do really love it. It's fun to talk about this show.
Yeah. Have you felt like, 3 Gossip Girls was obviously, like you said, kind of like a bit of a peak in terms of that viewership and the downloads and everything, and then you had the kind of lull with Friday Night Lights. Do you feel like now with Pretty Little Liars you're on that kind of same level again, like with Gossip Girl? Have you kind of found that people are resonating with that a bit more?
Yeah,
I think so. Also, a lot of a lot of the people that are tuning in are now watching us, which has become like a big thing that we've shifted. A year ago, we really were like, well, let's like put time and effort, or was it a year ago? Maybe a year and a half ago. Let's put time and effort into YouTube and let's see how this goes. And really, I'm proud of us and our little network here growing on YouTube. And really, that's where we keep hearing from our Bettys, like, please don't get rid of the video podcast. We love watching We Are Liars. And so, yeah, I think it's finding its own footing in that way.
Yeah, definitely. And every time we sit down, if we do like something bonus, we look at each other like, should we do video? Yeah, we're definitely going to do video, because people want to see such a video, because people want to see the video.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely has grown and help our YouTube channel grow by having our We Are Liars episodes on YouTube.
Yeah.
So watching that grow has been great, and then also the audio and the listener.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say definitely going up every time we reach a new season. We go back and look, and it's definitely the listens go up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like that 100%. I am video all the way. So like that is why I've loved like the We Are Liars one so much, is because that's my favorite way to like consume podcasts as well, is to watch them. So, and I think that's fun, you know, you feel like very in the room within, you get to see your facial expressions and like how you guys are kind of interacting, and I think people really respond to that as well. Do you find that you've had a kind of, is it like almost two separate audiences in a way? Like, do you find some people are just very video, like that's the only place they comment and interact, and then people are like, oh no, I only do audio? Or do you kind of see people cross over?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think our patrons specifically definitely consume both. And then there are people who are always on Spotify commenting. There are people that are always on YouTube commenting. So I think it's just a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
It just depends on what you like. So if you're used to YouTube, like Lauren, you're literally on YouTube, so it would make sense that you would want to watch something as opposed to listening to it. And, you know, I guess there are people that maybe it's just easier if they're on their way to work, or they're at work, or they're cleaning. It's easier to listen to something. But then I do that too, but sometimes I'll just actually click the video podcast and like not necessarily watch it if I'm cleaning, but I like to catch and see if a little clip.
I'm the exact same, yeah.
So it just depends on my mood, honestly. And I wonder if that's our listeners too, and the watchers. Depends on their mood.
Kind of already touched on quite a few of these, but you've obviously had some really fun experiences come out of the Tobe, podcast network, like interviewing cast members for One Tree Hill and going to those fan events and meeting, people that have listened to the show and things like that. So do you have, do each of you have a favourite experience or thing you've gotten to do because of the podcast, directly?
Even though it was nerve-wracking, I loved that we got to announce the concert and the fashion show at Trick. That was I just thought that was so much fun that they just threw us in. They're like, oh, you'll be the announcers, and we had no clue. So I'm actually just proud, and that was really fun to do.
I actually forgot about that. I'm really glad you said
you
that.
Blocked it out.
I did. I think I blocked that out. But wow, it's so hard to my mind goes straight to being inside of Trick, being part of that fandom and being inside where they filmed the One Tree Hill and just interviewing the guests. I think also a special one is having Lee Norris on for season 4 finale for us, and that was virtual, and he was the first actor from the show to sign on to talk to us, and that was so special. He spent so much time with us, and then having James and Steven Skype in, and I was freaking out. I'm
so excited to watch the one with James on it. I'm literally I cannot wait.
My god, that episode,
love him.
That audio episode was just setting the logistics behind the scenes was really it worked it was great. So I look back at those and I'm those are really special.
And to also be when Friends with Benefits started, we were there from the beginning to see how incredible they did everything, and how they continue to do so, and just being around when the energy was so high, and just it was such a great feeling to be involved in something like a passion project and something that was so important to Raina and her employees, if you will. It just the energy was palpable and just so intense, but in the best way, and just being in Trick, walking into Trick, that was literally a trip. Just seeing the way they decorated it, being in that building, if you haven't been, you have to go, because it's just the most wild experience ever. It really is. I mean, I'm sure there are other places. Wilmington is famous for Dawson's and for One Tree Hill and so much. So I'm sure there are other areas that do feel nostalgic like that. But to walk into how they decorated it to look exactly like Trick, in the space that they filmed Trick, it's just you can't even imagine it. It's really incredible.
I think also for me, I just want to make, because now it just came back, but doing Let's Talk OC and then being able to go on, oh my gosh, Melinda and Rachel's podcast. Welcome to the OC. Welcome to the OC, bitches. So we did that, and then we went to a convention, and we approached Melinda Clark and asked her about that, and that's how that came to be. And then when we walked away, I hysterically cried. Lauren, it was I turned and I was like, listen, we gotta go to a corner. And I was just because I could not believe that we were able to pull this off. And it's who are you pulling this off, right, so to speak? But I was I cannot believe this is going to happen. That was wild.
Yeah, and we didn't even. She kind of just said, "I would love to have you guys on."
Yes,
wait, us?
Yes,
you wanted her on yours, but then she was like, "Come over."
It was role reversal, and we were just "Oh my goodness!" Walked away, and we just could not believe what just had happened. And then we did it, and after that, still couldn't believe that it had happened. And, just little special moments like that. You don't even. And we've been so fortunate that we have gotten these opportunities, and it just doesn't hurt to ask. We always say that well, we don't want to be a bothersome, and it's if you ask, the worst that happens is they say no, and
they have. We've gotten no's.
Definitely have, and
we've gotten no's,
and that's fine. Much respect. It's just and then the chance that they say yes, and then there you are. And
Yes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I love that. I think that's so true. It's definitely don't be afraid to kind of go for the things that you want, because you'll be surprised like how receptive people can be in that sense. And like you said, if you don't, well, it's like the classic, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
From that, are you guys kind of hoping to maybe go to more things? Or I guess it's kind of tricky. There isn't really a Pretty Little Liars version of that. They do, panels and things sometimes, but is that something you guys like really like doing and want to do more of?
We do like doing it. I think we were talking about how we would actually like to interview like the directors and writers and people who worked on the show, as opposed to maybe going to see the actors themselves. Not that we wouldn't have great conversation, but we're just so interested in like the mind behind what is happening in Pretty Little Liars. I think right now in our career, if you will, our goals, I think would be more interview based with those type of people, as opposed to like going to a convention and getting a soundbite.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we're creating behind the scenes chats. Yeah.
I love that. That's like my favorite thing. I was able to do sent questions to Norman Buckley, who directed he's like the most recurring director on Pretty Little Liars. And I was like the exact same. I literally was like, everything was, like you said, more behind the scenes based. I wanted to know everything. I was like, why did you do this? And what was your favorite episode to make? Or Mandy Line, who did the costume design, like she's also the sweetest person. And I am just so kind of like you guys, like love that more. Yeah, just dissecting the show in that way and all those little decisions that people make. That, again, a lot of people just watch the show, they enjoy it, they don't think about it. But it's like, no, everything that you are watching has been curated by somebody. And so I think that's so fun to give a spotlight to those people who don't usually get it.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
And where we were, podcasters first, we were kind of became like media second. And not that we weren't passionate about interviewing interviewing actors. It was kind of like, that's for like the soundbite or the social media clip. And it's, we're a podcast. We would like to have a discussion about the podcast or, about the show at hand, as opposed to just getting that like quick bite of, don't get me wrong, we love to ask what your noodle, if you could be a noodle, which noodle would you be? And like hearing Tyler Posey or whoever say what noodle they are is it's so great to watch. And you could watch it, you keep scrolling and scrolling like on TikTok. But to have a discussion about the show that we are talking about, I think at this point in our lives and our podcasting journey, I think it's probably more important to us.
Yeah, agreed.
Kind of speaking of social media, do you find it has, I guess because you guys have been podcasting for so long, you kind of really built your presence within that, like you said, Spotify, Patreon and YouTube. Do you kind of use social media in that way to promote things, or do you feel like we kind of have our audience as it is, we kind of like to build it more organically through that rather than, a clip going viral or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's more, we probably could do more. We could. I do not have it in me. And that is really what it comes down to. I have to be on social so much for work, and I just don't hang out there a lot. So
it's draining.
It's very draining. And when you have a lot of things going on at the same time, it's really hard to be like, I'm going to focus here on this social media platform. YouTube, like I said, we were like, we're not going to post on Instagram anymore. We didn't love doing it. We didn't love showing up on stories. We were like, it felt like such a draining task. I was like, let's get rid of the draining task. People like us on YouTube. We have this down. We'll make our videos. It's working.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of TikTok. It's never been my app of choice. And so Liss, I know, is on TikTok. We were posting clips on TikTok. We were just like repurposing our content there. But then it was like we weren't gaining anything. Like sometimes it would do well, but not enough. I don't think we were gaining listeners to our show from TikTok.
And I think that's like the hard the hard lesson is that most of the people who have clips of their podcast on TikTok are very famous people, and they're highly edited, and they have an editor. Like, that would be the only, I feel like the only person we would hire outside would be someone for a social media coordinator or something like
I would do that 100%.
Yeah, we don't have it in us.
Do not have it in me.
Like, you have to be so consistent on, especially like TikTok, for people to find you. And like Michelle said, even if they did, they're not going back into their, Apple Podcast app and typing in "We're Liars." They're just not doing it. So it didn't make sense to us to continue to do it when it was draining. We didn't feel like it was us. I'm trying not to be on TikTok. I have a bad TikTok issue. Michelle hates it. So I was like, let's not do it. And Instagram, it was kind of the same thing. We were posting stills, and then it was becoming, well, we're not doing stills anymore. Everyone's doing these 30-second clips and these 60-second clips. And you're like, okay, well, now we have to do that. And we'd just much rather do that and post it on YouTube where we are than do it on Instagram. Right. And eventually, maybe one day it will change. But the only thing we like doing is making pickle videos. Like, we don't want to do anything besides eat pickles.
So true. It's so true.
I love those videos.
We have no issues clipping video from our episode, but when we actually want to talk about and do ourselves eat pickles, so that's what we want to post. And we're not shy. We're like, this is what we like to do, and we don't care what it looks like, because
I love
and
that.
I think you can't spread yourself too thin, because then you're not getting quality out of anything. And I understand you could just repurpose the same clip, but then you have to check each platform, and you have to write the specific caption and make sure it's being spread and share it. And
the trending sound, and then you
I
get
can't.
flagged for
I have
using the trending
no.
sound.
I just I don't have it in me. Yeah.
Me either.
Yeah, I think that's so fair. I'm like very similar in that way. If I want to put that time and effort in, like, and it sounds crazy because it's like, oh, like a TikTok, you just, it's 30 seconds, but not when you are having to take that from a longer podcast clip, edit it, make sure that all the ratios are right, because obviously we're doing everything landscape, so now I've got to change it and like edit it through properly, render that, upload that, like you said, all the hashtags, all the, there's not, I mean, you could probably pay for a software that just does them all for you and whatever, but I was the same way, like, still am now. Like, that, for me, just, my heart isn't in it. And, like, when I feel like, oh, I found a really great clip or something, like, yeah, I'll post that. Like, that, I want to do that. But I think there's something about, and I think, you kind of mentioned it earlier, like, burnout and things, putting yourself in, or forcing yourself to create things that you don't really want to create is just a bit of a slippery slope into that sense of burnout when you can put your time, because like you said, you have other jobs and things and life in the way, so you want to, the spare time you do have, put it into things that you actually really love making. And I think that comes across like as an audience member as well.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Michelle, you do have your other podcast, your Movie Friends one.
Yes.
So when did you kind of start that? When were you like, oh, I really love the TV stuff that we're doing over here, but I also really love movies.
No.
And I want a space to talk about that.
No. No. Oh, gosh. Mr. Seth Vargas, my partner in crime. It's funny. He always wanted us, Liss and I, to do a Pretty Little Liars podcast.
He was like one of the first.
The pioneer.
No way.
Yes.
I've never, ever. No.
Yeah. But yeah, 4 years ago, I was at like a friend vacation. It was a long weekend. We were upstate New York. Seth came to hang out. We were just talking, and Seth was always trying to, like, he would pitch podcasts to me for years. And I was like, that sounds great. You do it. I don't have the capacity to do it. I'll show up and be a guest. I'll help you. But no, you do it. So we talk about podcasts or stuff that weekend, and then I get this doc in my email. It's a pitch doc of like, this is what Movie Friends would look like. Michelle, you don't watch movies. I watch movies. I'll do all I'll do all the work. You just show up. And so I was very impressed with this pitch doc. And so I sent him a formal letter back with my letterhead. And I said, yeah, okay, I'm in. And so that was almost 4 years ago.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's literally just, he says, this is the movie we're watching this week. You watch it, you give your thoughts on it.
It used to be that, and now it's so much more than that.
Definitely evolved, for sure.
It's evolved. Now it's, at the time when I started Movie Friends, we were doing Talkin' Texas Forever. We were doing Pretty Little Liars. Liz and I were in a fellowship program for podcasting, and
oh my god,
I was doing Movie Friends, and I talk about burnout. I was like, this is not good. And so Seth was picking every movie, and like really I hated it because I don't like these movies. I don't care to watch these movies. And then it shifted where like I'll pick a movie a month, and then we started doing live shows, and now we're writing a movie and hoping to shoot that at the end of the year.
Wow, that's so fun.
So yeah, it's a very interesting. Seth is like my comedic partner. Collaborative partner.
Yeah.
I tell Seth all the time, I am not in Movie Friends because of the movies. I'm in it for our friendship. And Liz, I'm in it for friendship. I'm a friendship girly. I love my friendship.
Totally. And Seth is he's so creative, and he always has like a plethora of ideas at once. He's always like trying something new. He's always pitching these things. And like, he's just like, one day he was telling me about, he's like, we should do this like dentist, like walk up dentist. You don't need insurance. You just go get your teeth. Like, he pitches all these random things because he's got so much going on in his brain that he's just constantly creating. And I mean, we love that because we're creators, and he's just like the perfect podcaster. He's so natural at it. He's so good.
And he's really, he's very passionate about movies, and it comes across, and he's extremely knowledgeable, and his thoughts and ideas that pair with that are, I love it. And it's great to have someone be like, wouldn't it be funny if? I mean, that's how all of our texts start, and then we just have a running doc of like, okay, in this movie we're gonna do this, in this short, in this bit, let's keep the bit. It just so it's fun.
Yeah, I loved when he came on for the black and white episode.
Yeah.
Because
so good.
I don't do movies. That's just not my beat.
Yeah.
I'm a TV girly through and through.
Yeah.
So then when I had watched that episode, none of really what he was talking about had ever occurred to me because I just, I'm just not in that world. So I loved that episode and found it so interesting where he was like, so this is the movie they were referencing, and I went and I watched it, and this is what it means for the show, and I was like, this is fabulous.
I think it was my favorite episode to date because he put so much time and effort into that we appreciated it so much. And honestly, when editing that episode, it was quite literally Seth talking the entire time is exactly what I wanted it to be, because I as hell don't have anything. Michelle doesn't have anything to talk about with movies, and I was like, oh, what a perfect episode. So thank you for enjoying it, and thank you.
Yes,
Seth.
thank you.
I'm so happy with the way that one turned out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really great one. So then I guess with, Pretty Little Liars, like, you're kind of, over halfway now. So are you kind of interested in, because I know you did the Gossip Girl reboot as well.
Yikes, that was bad.
Are you... Terrible,
so
absolutely terrible. I was shocked, actually. Like, when I saw that you guys had gone back to the world of Gossip Girl, I thought you would never go back.
Oh gosh.
So are you kind of interested? I know you did the Ravenswood one, which I was so happy that you guys liked Ravenswood, because I was like, I loved Ravenswood and no one else did. I was like, you guys get it.
Yeah.
It was
we
good.
Really enjoyed it.
Really enjoyed it.
And
Really
for 10 episodes, it's like easy peasy. Like,
exactly. I really liked it.
Yeah.
But you've obviously got, the ones that come after that. Obviously no spoilers or anything for what they are or what they're about. But is that something you guys are like willing to stay in the PLL world, or are you like, actually we've got another show, obviously you don't have to say what it is, like, because you'll do an announcement and stuff, but are you like, oh, actually we're ready to pivot to a different teen drama?
We haven't truly discussed it in full detail. I personally I'm into going further into this show and watching The Perfectionist because I never watched it, and I think it's only one season, so I think it would be pretty easy to complete. And then the reboots are, again, like max, so there are like, 8 episodes each or something like that too, which I heard were really good. For at least
I really
Summer
liked them.
School, was that what? I think that one was supposed to be better than the other. I'm not really sure, but I'm not opposed to continuing on this journey as long as the listeners want it and Michelle wants it. I'm here for it, because the other show we were going to do also has a ton of seasons and a ton of spin-offs. I don't really think I'm mentally prepared to do that right now. So.
I feel like I know which show
sure
you're talking about,
it's
just
the
based
Vampire
on
Diaries,
that.
And
I knew it was the Vampire Diaries.
I'm so happy
the originals,
that we didn't
the
do
whatever.
that, actually. Because
me too, Liz. Me too.
There's so much to do with that show. So maybe in the very distant future. But I would be down to, continue watching these spin-off PLL shows just to see what they're about.
Yeah, I very much love, and my brain works this way, to stay in a world and not just content switch. Like, let's just finish it up. If our listeners are like, yeah, we're interested in this, and Liz is like, let's do it, then I'm here for it. Yeah. So
I think they're really good, personally. But then I don't know if that's just my bias, because anything that's Pretty Little Lies, like, you've got me. I'm going to be there.
Now I'm curious. Like, we did all of this. Let's see what you got, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Exactly, yeah.
So we have a bunch of listeners that are like, please do the reboots, because they really, really enjoyed it. So,
right.
You know?
Yeah. When you guys were, like, talking in the earlier season 4 episodes, and you were like, oh, shall we do Ravenswood? I don't know if we will. I was like, please do. I want to hear your thoughts so
bad. It only makes sense.
Why stop if it lined up? Why stop, midway? It just...
Because you know what would have happened if we didn't do Ravenswood? Liz would have explained what happened to one character and where they went, and then they'd come back, and then I'd be like, but what do you mean? And it would just be me asking, well, what do you mean? Like, give me more. And she'd be like, don't worry about it. I'd be like, I cannot not worry about it. Like, you need... So for Liz's benefit, it's good that we watched it.
Yeah, I think for everyone's benefit, it's
probably
better we watched it, because... wow. Yeah. And when that episode happens in season 5, when this person comes back and explains all the things, I can't even imagine.
Oh, yeah, you'd be so confused.
I can't even imagine not knowing what he's talking about. Like, that is just insane to me.
Right.
So.
No, that's so true.
Yeah.
Are you, like, excited for season 5? Because I know, and I'm the same, when I do a rewatch, season 4, she's a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
She's a bit of a slog. Yeah. Like, there's some really good episodes, but for as good as those ones are, you get some real stinkers. Yeah. So going in, having seen the finale of season 4, are you like, I'm ready for season 5, or are you like, oh, is this going to get even worse than what I just watched?
I'm excited. I'm ready.
I am ready. I am excited. Yeah. And also, I said this during our finale episode, I'm always extremely proud of us when we finish a season of any TV series of our shows. So the fact that we get to go into another one just means we keep on moving forward. Yep. So I am excited.
Yeah, totally.
And then, so for, listeners, when is that going to be available, season 5? When's that kind of kicking off? Do you have a premiere date yet?
Yes, we do. Is it March 10th? March 12th.
It will be...
What's that Wednesday?
Yes, it'll be available for our patrons on March 10th. So if you subscribe to our Patreon network, you get to have all of season 5 with us.
I'm so
if you're
excited. I was like, I can't wait. That long.
It's so soon. But if you're not a member of our Patreon, you won't get season 5 until September. And by then season 5 will be completed.
With the season, yeah. We have
a
lot of things coming up, and it's just made the most sense. And our patrons are the most important. They support us. They have been for the last 10 years, and they deserve to get a treat. I mean, last season we did it where it was, we recorded up to like the first 15 episodes on Patreon before everyone else got it. And this time we're doing the whole season, because I'm just going to keep going. Keep going from March to August, and then September, everyone publicly will be able to get the episodes, and we'll be quiet.
We'll be quiet. We'll take a break. We'll take a break.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did that kind of come about, in that it's almost like you do it in the way that shows run, where they run and then they have their mid-season break, they have their season break. Was that just purely, again, to kind of combat that idea of burnout, and now we can just let these go and we can take a bit of a breather?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been a learning curve these past 10 years of scheduling and knowing what's best for us as far as work and personal life and vacation and holidays and what have you. So like now it's a non-negotiable for the last 2 or 3 years. We've taken all of December off because, which, you know, now it won't matter because we'll be going into the summer. But like, it's very important to us to not have burnout. And, you know, having done this now for 24 weeks, it kind of scheduling wise just made sense to continue for some things that are going to be happening. And then there will be some time off, but it depends on the season and what makes sense for us. And so, generally we do take a couple of months because we need to recoup, and we also have work and personal lives and spouses and vacations and family and all that. So we need to find that work-life balance. And it's been working for us for the past however many years we've been scheduling ourselves like that.
Yeah, and also experimentation, right? Like we have the luxury to experiment and be curious on how things will work for us. And so when we did season 4, when we came back with season 4 in June and putting the first, like you said, 15 episodes on Patreon, it's the first time we've ever done that, where we put half of a season only on Patreon first before public could get it. And that went over really well. And we found that worked for us, worked for our patrons. People joined our Patreon for that. So that gained curiosity and interest with the audience. So hoping that will spark again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, it's all like trial and error. Every show, every season we start, like, let's just try something new this season and see what the feedback is. And putting it on Patreon really it was an eye-opener. We said, okay, actually people are joining and they are excited and they don't want to have to wait. And so we're hoping to see what happens this time around when the entire season's going to be up there behind a paywall.
Yeah. I mean, that was me. I was like, I can't be waiting. Like, I'm signing up.
Oh, we're so appreciative of you.
Yeah,
there's no way.
We are so appreciative.
I literally love it, but I'm like, look forward to it every week. I'm always so excited.
We do too.
Oh my god, the new one's posted. I'm like, yes. So then I guess to like kind of round out, what are your kind of goals, you know, for yourselves, like for the network as creators? I guess, you know, kind of, you could say like for this year, for 2026, or just kind of, do you have, I guess, like, just kind of general goals or things that you're moving towards, things that you guys want to do? Or are you just like, you know what, we found our stride, like, we're really happy with what we're doing?
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's
such a loaded question.
It's such a loaded question.
You know what? I'll say this, and this isn't the end all be all, because this is my brain all the time, and I like moved my head around in a circle for those who are just listening. But anyway, I would say there are things I want to experiment with our video podcast with multiple camera angles.
Okay.
And so that is,
so
that is something that I'm working on for Liss and I. And I'm going to leave it at that for now.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, we're always looking to improve the tech if we can, and improve the way things look and sound. And what makes everything easier for us. So that's always the goal every year, is to improve. I mean, it's still a goal of mine to make this a full-time job, and not have to,
100%, 100%.
Not have to, you know, work a 9 to 5. It's always been a goal of ours. And some years it's easier to focus on than others. Like, I feel like the last couple of years have been really hard to just like focus on just doing that because of life and things happen. So I'm hopeful for 2026 then that will kind of like reignite my passion to like work on that. So we're always trying bigger and better. We're always trying to improve. I don't think that will ever stop. We're a well-oiled machine. We know what we have to do.
Right.
That takes the guessing out of things, and we love to learn. We want to see what we could do as far as improving what we look like and sound like all the time.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be so. Like a 2-camera like setup. I feel like would be so. It would feel like a full-on TV show.
It's a goal. I just have to finagle that.
Yes, we are.
Because that's the thing. You're like, oh, this is so perfect. This is so streamlined, and then you're like, now I'm going to add something in that is going to throw it off.
And every time we do without failure, we still are like, it's not working. We don't know what to do, or we can't figure this thing out. But then eventually we get there. Michelle Michelle is very persistent in her research and her trying. She's constantly like, I tried it this way, I tried it that way, and constantly. And like, I appreciate her efforts so much, because honestly, without her, I would be lost. If someone were to say, come in here and set up my, my OBS, I'd be like, okay, I'll try my best, but I really need Michelle to come here and help me.
No, you're not giving yourself enough credit. I would be lost without you, because you lead us every single week with this show, because I can't look anything up. And that is hard as someone who wants to feel like they're pulling their weight. And Liss, she show runs, and so I can't look anything up. And so I'm just like,
yes, and that's a discussion we've had in the past too, where Michelle's like, I need to be doing something. Like, I know you're show running, and I know you're doing, research and formatting the show, and it's just like, she's like, I need to be also doing something. So this season we gave her like, we gave you some segments, and like we're trying.
I'll read Lucky Leon's later.
Like, we were trying to make the load just, we're
trying
to make it even, and sometimes it's hard. But she does so much off camera, off mic, that you guys don't see, that it evens out. She does so much with the tech.
Yeah.
Because then I guess, like you said, you haven't seen The Perfectionist or the spin-off, so then that'll be, I guess, a completely new...
We could go into that differently, Liz. We could.
To neither.
We could tag team that. Yeah. That would be fun to, when we're at that point, what we decide to do and how and what that looks like.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Co-showrunners.
Yeah, actually. We should do that. Like, we should
could co-showrun.
That would be fun.
That would be a good... That would be fair.
Thank you for that idea, Lauren.
Thank you, Lauren.
It's giving us some ideas.
Yes.
So then, to kind of end off the questions that I ask everybody is, what is your favourite TV show of all time? Even though I think I know what Michelle's going to say now.
I think that she will say that. I will still always, to this day, say Friends. It is my baby, my love. Actually, I'm itching for a rewatch. I haven't watched it in feels like forever. It's just comforting to me, and I love those characters so much. Joey is, he's become my favorite character for like the last 10 years, and every time I watch, I just grow more and more fond of him. So, Friends for me.
Yeah.
Oh, Friends is so good. This is such, okay, we know The OC is my favorite TV show, but I think The Sopranos is the best TV show of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
So, but I do love Friends too. Friends is such an I'm so emotionally invested in those people that like I can't watch and not cry like all the time.
I know.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, so good.
I've seen it 100 times. It's also my favorite show.
Love it.
But I will still cry.
Yeah.
I'll still laugh when I'm supposed to laugh. I'll still cry when
It's
I'm
always
supposed
like
to
it's
cry.
the first time. Like, oh, that joke was so funny. It's like I've only heard it a million times.
Yeah. No, that is just like, that show is 100% like lightning in a bottle. Yeah. Like, there is no other show that's like
so
that.
true.
I just love it.
Really true.
So then, your favorite TV character, and it doesn't have to be from your favorite show, it can be from any show, just your like standout, I just loved this character so much.
Mine is very, very controversial. It is Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother. I know he's problematic. I just love him so much. I think his character is so flawed in the best way, and like he doesn't, even though it looks like he's like a winner all the time, he actually is always losing. And it's just so funny that he can't like give in to that. He just is so ridiculous. And like Neil Patrick Harris is absolute perfection as Barney Stinson. There's no other person that could have played him as well as him. So I say Barney Stinson. I know it's controversial, but I'm obsessed with him. I think he's the funniest character that's been on television. I really do.
I love that you have such a strong answer, because I
really couldn't tell you.
I really struggle with this because it's like so show specific, right? But okay, I will defend Marissa Cooper at any moment in time, and I actually love arguing in defense of her. So Marissa Cooper, but also I just want to give a shout out, and this is a character I constantly think about, but I don't know if you guys have ever watched Nurse Jackie, but there's a character named Zoe, played by Merritt Weaver, and I absolutely love everything she does, and I love that character so much. And her dynamic with Edie Falco's Jackie is really good. So yeah,
That's a good answer.
She's
I've
like a
never
blue
watched
ribbon.
Nurse Jackie.
So good. I love Edie Falco. So, and Zoe as by Merritt Weaver is really good. Really good.
And then a TV show or a movie that you saw recently that you would recommend.
Heated Rivalry, obviously. I cannot talk about Heated Rivalry, so that was easy for me.
So good.
I'm going to recommend a movie that I saw recently. Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie.
Oh, okay.
Wait, is it about Nirvana? Like, actually,
it is
the band
not.
Nirvana?
It is not.
Oh.
It is not.
Whoops.
Jay McCarroll and Matt Johnson, two best friend co-collaborators from Canada. They had a web series called Nirvana, the band, the show. And they're just very funny. And so they made a movie, and it's very similar to the movie that Seth and I are writing. And it's like, I want to be these guys when I grow up. Like, I saw this movie. I cannot stop thinking about this movie. I can't stop thinking about this duo. And it comes back to friendship, guys. It's always coming back to friendship.
That's great.
I love that. That's my favorite thing in any show. I think that's why I love Pretty Little Liars so much, is that at the core of it, it's those four girls and their friendship. Yeah. And that is going to get me invested every time.
Yeah.
And then I haven't asked everybody this, but I want to ask you guys just because I'm curious. Like, at this point in time, going into season 5, who is your favorite character on Pretty Little Liars?
I mean, Travis, but
I knew she was going to say Travis.
Travis?
I love Travis.
But we love Travis.
Honestly, right now it is Travis. But if I had to pick a liar, I think it would probably be Emily.
Yeah. Same.
Okay.
Same. And I love that because
Emily's such a fun one. She has such a resurgence.
Yes.
She really does. She really did.
Because in season 1, I said she was my least favorite.
Yeah.
And now she's become, I'm just very impressed with her. So
me too.
I hope she has a good season.
I think she is. I know. Yeah. I think it does, like, for a lot of people, it really just depends on the season as to who you're like. They're having, I don't know, I feel like each of them gets a really good season.
Yeah.
No one's ever can't always all be at 100 all the time.
No,
We've got people have to shine.
Right.
Right. Poor Aria, bless her. She's always at the
bottom. Oh boy.
That's okay.
She really is always at the bottom.
Yeah. But we blame Ezra. That's his
we
fault.
will.
That's right.
Always,
yes, we do.
Always and forever.
Yeah, always. Thank you guys so much. I've literally taken up so much of your time.
No,
sorry
thank you so much for this conversation.
Yes, this is great.
But it was so nice, like, chatting to you guys.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Pretty and Witty podcast. Please make sure to go and follow and support all the guests that I have spoken to, not just today, but throughout this entire series. There are so many amazing creators out there, and I'm so excited to keep talking to them. And I hope you guys will subscribe to this channel. I will see you guys next week for another episode.
Okay, see you again next week. Love you, bye.